I would like to request Taha to come and do recitation of Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون ذي الأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Can you hear it loud and clear? The call of Sayyid al-Shuhada. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا On the day of Ashura, from that land of Karbala, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Battered and surrounded by the likes of Shimro Hurmala, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Hurt and thirsty, yet his cry reaches everyone near and far. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا There is no Qasim or Akbar, oh no Muhammad Abdullah. There is no Abbas or Hur, no Muslim Ibn Osaja. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا We wish we were there to say لبيك يا ابن رسول الله We wish we could have responded to your call of Ashura. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا 1400 years it's been Still it feels like yesterday. Your Halmin still resonates in the mind of your Shia. Hal min nasir yansuruna, hal min nasir yansuruna, hal min nasir yansuruna, hal min nasir yansuruna. We wish we were there to say لبيك يا ابن رسول الله We wish we could have responded to your call of Ashura هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا صلوا على محمد وآل محمد
Brother Mehtab will recite Salam in Urdu.
صلوات سلام ایک اہل سنت شاعر نے اپنی عقیدت پیش کی ہے کچھ بند ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے جی بھر کے پیغمبر کی بیٹی کو رلایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے گردن میں رسن باندھی حیدر کو ستایا ہے معصومہ کو محسن کا کیا داغ دکھایا ہے جی بھر کے پیغمبر کی بیٹی کو رلایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے حقدار خلافت سے محروم رہا ہے غم و حضرت سرور کو آدھا نے دیا ہے یوں شاہ شہیداں کو مہمان کیا ہے کیا ذکر ہو کھانے کا پانی نہ دیا ہے بے رحموں نے پیاسے کا خون رن میں بہایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے احمد کے نواسے کو یوں کشتی غم کرنا خط بھیج کے بلوانا اس پر یہ ستم کرنا دو سحر روز کے پیاسے کا سر تن سے قلم کرنا پھر اس سر اقدس کو نیزے پہ علم کرنا گھر بھی شہ بے کس کا مقتل میں جلایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے قرآن کی طرح رن میں آیا ہے جو خیمے سے ہاتھوں میں شہدی کے ایک پھول سا بچہ ہے دل ماں کا بہلتا بھی کیا باد علی اصغر اجڑی ہوئی گودی ہے سونا ہوا جھولا ہے آدھا نے جو تیر حلقے اصغر پہ چلایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے جو دین کا سلطان تھا سردار دو عالم تھا بے گورو کفن رن میں اس کا ہی رہا لاشا دربار میں حاکم کے سر ننگے گیا کنبا تفسیر ہی کیا اس کی یہ ظلم ہوا کیسا بازاروں میں یوں در در زینب کو پھرایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے بے دینوں کے لاشیں تو سب دفن ہوئے لیکن جلتی ہوئی ریتی پہ شبیر کا لاشا تھا بازاروں میں کوچوں میں درباروں میں زنداں میں سر سبت پیغمبر کا قرآن سناتا تھا گردن پہ شہدی کے خنجر یوں چلایا ہے کیا یہ بھی پیغمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے آخری مقطع کا بند ماں بہن کھلے سر تھی بلوائیوں کا نرغہ تصویر قیامت تھی ہنگامہ محشر تھا ارے روتا تھا نبی زادہ ہنستے تھے ستم آرا، کیا حال لکھوں انور میں عابد مضطر کا، ارے آثار قیامت ہے عالم تہو بالا ہے، کیا یہ بھی پیمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے؟ جی بھر کے پیمبر کی بیٹی کو رلایا ہے، کیا یہ بھی پیمبر نے امت کو سکھایا ہے؟ صلوات
Please recite a loud salawat. Now I would like to request Maulana Rizwan Rizvi to come and address the Majlis in English. For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
رحم اللہ من قرأ سورة الفاتحہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. ایک دفعہ اور سورہ فاتحہ کی تلاوت کر کے پلیز سر سورہ فاتحہ فار دا فالوئنگ مرحومین: محمد علی افسر جہاں، فوزیہ فاطمہ، مرزا اصغر بیگ، صابرہ بیگم، نگہت بیگم. سورہ فاتحہ. بسم اللہ الرحمن. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الحمد للہ الذی قصرت عن رؤیته ابصار الناظرین وعجزت عن نعته اوہام الواصفین. الحمد للہ رب العالمین. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه فهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات بھیجئے محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is the second and the last majlis in this series of majalis. Yesterday, majlis was in Urdu and has no connection to tonight's majlis and rabt, as I recited a different ayat and inshallah a different topic and a different discussion. The verse that I chose for tonight's discussion is from Surah Al Imran, ayat number 85. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah addresses by saying, وَمَن يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا, that whoever follows a religion other than Islam, it will not be accepted from them. فَلَن يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And that person will be considered amongst khasireen, those who are at loss, those who are losers on the Day of Judgment. Now, in order to get into the discussion, we need to understand what some of the words that are being mentioned in this ayah really mean. Because it is possible that certain words of Quran could be used in meanings that we have made for ourselves, or could be for another meaning. As you are all well aware, that there was a person by the name Ishaq Kindi in the time of 11th Imam, who was compiling a book named Tanaqudat al-Quran, the ayat which were contradictory to one another. And Imam, using one of the students of Ishaq, told him, why don't you confront your teacher? He said, how can I speak to my teacher? How can I confront him? Imam said, I'll tell you what to say. First, you need to get close to him. Once the student got close to his teacher, Ishaq Kindi, he then went up to him and said what Imam told him. He said, when you collected this book, or when you collected the ayat which are contradictory in Quran, is it according to your understanding, or you believe this is what Allah meant as well? Meaning what? There's something that I can take from Quran as far as my understanding is concerned. But there's a possibility that is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means. What is meant by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely different than that. Right away when Ishaq Kindi heard that, he said, you're right. I was under the assumption that what my understanding of Quran is the real understanding, and thus I thought these ayat are contradictory. There is tanaqud in the ayat of Quran. And hence I went ahead and wrote this book. But he said, how did you come to this understanding? Who told you? He said, I just thought about it. He said, no, being my student, you cannot come up to this conclusion. There must be a source which told you to go ahead and tell me this. He pointed toward Imam. And Ishaq Kindi burned all the work that he had done, destroyed all the work that he had done, and, may have repented and said that Allah knows where to place his risalat. So with that said, we need to figure out what these ayat, of the words in this ayat, really mean. A couple of words need explanation. Number one, it says, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ. What does the word yabtaghi mean? I translate the word yabtaghi as the one who follows. This is what majority of the translators of Quran have done so. The one who adopts, the one who adheres to, or the one who follows the religion of Islam. But then why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have used the word وَمَنْ يَتَّبِعْ? He didn't use the word yattabi, instead he used the word yabtaghi. Yattabi is ya, ta, ba, and ain. Yabtaghi is ya, ba, ta, and ghain. There are two different roots and two different meanings, but both are used in a similar meaning. Allah didn't use the word yattabi, he instead used the word yabtaghi. There's a difference between the two. It is kalame ilahi. It's full of wisdom. Every word is placed so meticulously that it means something specific. And therefore we cannot go ahead and, based on our own whims, think that this ayat means this or that ayat means that. The word yabtaghi, and the difference between the word yattabi is that yattabi only means to follow. Regardless of the fact that you knew about it or not, you just need to follow. Yabtaghi, on the other hand, is used in this case where Allah refers to that those to whom the message has been delivered and they still stay away from the message. See the difference? That if someone comes and tells you the Majlis will start at 8 o'clock, and you say, well, I did not know. I thought it would start at 9 o'clock. That's why I came late. You say, well, we had already sent out the message. There's no way that you can say, well, I didn't see the message or I was not aware of it. No, we sent out the message via WhatsApp, via email, via all other means. You missed the Majlis. We started on time, and although we didn't start on time, but we started on time and we finished. You're late. So that person will not have any excuse to say, well, I was not aware of it. because the message was delivered to him. Same is the person over here where Allah says, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا. The person who follows a religion other than Islam, because Islam was mentioned to them, Islam was delivered to them, the message was there for them, is still there, stayed away from it. These are the individual فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. It will not be accepted from them, whatever they follow. وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. They are considered to be amongst the khasirin on the day of judgment. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So that's one word which requires explanation. Second word that requires explanation in this ayat is وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ. What does the word Islam denotes or means in this particular ayah? Islam, from Aslama Yusluma Islaman, means what? Does it mean the religion of Islam, the doctrine which our Prophet brought for us in this noble book? Or the word Islam merely refers to taslim, meaning submission? Because Hazrat Ibrahim and Hazrat Ismail alayhim as-salatu was-salam, they made the dua when they said, وَجَعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ. When they were ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to أَن طَهِّرَ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْعَاكِفِينَ وَرُكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. Oh, you too, Ibrahim and Ismail, clean my house. To whom? Ta'ifin, those who are doing tawaf. Akifin, those who are doing i'tikaf. وَرُكَّعِ السُّجُودِ, and those who are doing ruku in it. Some people think i'tikaf is only for Sunnis. The Shia have nothing to do with i'tikaf. No, it is as much as Shi'i as it is Sunni. Because i'tikaf is part of our deen. It's part of our religion. It's the seerat of Rasulullah. It's the seerat of Aimma Athhar. They used to do i'tikaf. We may not know about it much, but that's another story. That does not mean that it doesn't exist in a religion. Hazrat Ibrahim and Ismail are told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to clean the house for whom? Tahira baytiya lit-ta'ifin, those who do tawaf, wa lil-akifin, those who do i'tikaf, wa rukka is-sujud, and those who are doing ruku and sujud in it. Now if someone tells you, this is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the mosque, this is the Imam Bara, house of Imam and the house of Allah, can you please pick up the garbage if you see laying here and there? Don't get offended. Why are you telling me to clean this place up? Don't you have volunteers who do this stuff to you? Or who are ma'amur to go ahead and do this? No, don't take it seriously upon yourself. When you are being offered to clean the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be joining the lanes of Hazrat Ibrahim and Hazrat Ismail. Unless you don't want to be part of the group of Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi, then yeah, you can refrain from saying, oh no, I'm too good to be given this sort of task. No. But then Allah says to do this, after which Hazrat Ibrahim says, وَجَعَلْنَا مُسْلِمَيْنِ لَكَ. Oh Allah, make us Muslimain. What does that mean? Those who follow Islam, the religion of Islam, which is brought by our Prophet, has not been brought yet. So what are they referring to? Muslimain lak refers to make us to be submissive to your command. So means when we use the word Islam in this ayah, does it mean the religion of Islam or does it mean submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If it means submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the spectrum and the sphere becomes broader, right? It includes other people in it as well. It's not only limited to those who say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. It includes even those who are followers of other divine religion because they are submissive to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will not only be solely for those who are Muslims. Daira buzurg ho gaya, yani the circle is now bigger, it can encompass more and more people in it. When that is the case, then it says, فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. If you are not submissive to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are considered to be amongst the losers and amongst the khasirin. So that is also an understanding. Some believe, no, the word Islam over here does refer to the religion of Islam. Meaning, ayat of Quran is denouncing all the other faiths. Faith of Christianity and Judaism and all the other divine faiths are being denounced over here in this ayat. The only faith that is accepted is Islam from you. فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. Why? Because other ayat of Quran, when Islam is used in it, refers to Islam. For example, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ Islam. Religion in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what? Only Islam. Or for example, وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. That I have chosen religion, Islam as your deen. So, based on these other ayat, if you do the tafsir of Quran through other ayat of Quran, then the word Islam here refers to the religion of Islam. So these are the two words that required explanation. The third word that requires explanation is the word deen. What does deen mean? Especially in this ayat. Let me repeat the ayat. Because my objective is when by the end of the discussion you should have this ayat memorized. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا. What does the word deen here mean? Deen literally refers to a path, a way. In some meanings, even reward, compensation. Istilahan, in terminology, deen means the doctrine that we follow. This book and the seerah of Ma'sumin is what deen is. If I was to ask kids sitting over here, what do you think deen is? I might get different answers. All of them would be correct. They would be in the similar area, but they might all have different answers. And it goes, okay, there's nothing wrong in having polarity when it comes to answering the question. But if you want a jame, all-encompassing answer to what deen is, if someone asks you, I'll give you that answer. Deen is AAA, not the company AAA. AAA, AAA. The first A stands for aqaid, your beliefs. The second A stands for ahkam, the do's and the don'ts. And the third A stands for akhlaq, the ethics and morality. If you have these three, then you have what is called deen. Because aqaid have everything, that you need as far as your aqidah and belief system is concerned. Ahkam, which cover the furu' deen and beyond furu', the do's and the don'ts, fall under the category of ahkam. And most importantly, having these two is not enough. Having good akhlaq is also important. And that is the reason the ayat of Quran, when spoke to the Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. O Prophet, if you were stern-hearted, they would have stranded you long ago. The fact that you are very soft-hearted, the fact that you care for people, the fact that you are soft-spoken is the reason why people are around you. And so therefore we understand akhlaq is that important. So that's what deen refers to. With that understanding of deen, question that arises: how important is this deen? How important is this deen? Sometimes in your life, you overlook some of the smaller mistakes. Sometimes, for example, if the dishes are not pristinely washed, it's not going to change much in the grand scheme of things. So what, the dishes were not properly washed. Or many other examples as such, where perfection is not met. It's small things which don't really, change a grand scheme of things. When you leave out small mistakes and you overlook the small mistakes, you're setting a wrong precedent for yourself. When you start skipping and overlooking your small mistakes, then eventually it leads to you overlooking your bigger mistakes. So don't get in the habit of overlooking your small mistakes. And also look in your armor, the things that are your nemesis. We all have our nemesis. We all have things that are our enemies. For example, in my example, patience. I'm a very impatient person. If I see something, if I want to do something, I want to make sure that I'll get it done right away. I don't have the sabr to wait it out. Maybe I'll wait for someone else to give me some commands or teach me something. No, I want to go ahead and do it myself. Sometimes impatience can lead to other things as well. So here, with this muqaddamah, deen. What is deen? You understood. But how important is this deen? Now we all know how important this deen is. And you know through ahadith and Quran and through aql. But I want to make sure that all the youngsters sitting over here, when they leave here tonight, they have a good grasp as to how important this deen is. I'm not saying the elderly don't need this. But elderly, at the end of the day, you say, well, I'm not going anywhere away from this deen. This deen is my life. You know, even though I do make mistakes, but this deen is my life. But maybe that concept has not settled in the heart of someone who's younger. So I want you to leave this place tonight by having an understanding that this deen is the most important thing in your life. This deen is the first priority in your life. You know, we have a priority list. Number 1, number 2, number 3. First priority list, for example, top of the list is your family. Second, your education. Third, your friends, for example. Fourth, sports, for example. Fifth, other activities. Maybe down there, 6th or 7th is masjid and imam barga. But if there were crunch of time, you were running out of time, and you were told that you only have 2 days left, then you will flip this priority list upside down. Now what's on top of the list? Madhab, deen, religion. Everything else is on the bottom. First top priority becomes your deen. That's what we've seen. When people don't have time, they're usually referred to the higher powers. That should not be the case. We, knowing that inshallah we get to live a long life, we want to make sure that deen is the top priority. How can I instill this concept in your hearts? That is my challenge tonight. You've heard many arguments, but I want to give one argument by which I want to make sure that I can instill this in your hearts, that deen is your top priority. And maybe it might be helpful for my elders as well. Because these 2 months, we commemorate the Aza of Sayyid al-Shuhada. We gather here in the name of Imam Hussein. This Farsh Aza, regardless of what our differences may be, brings us closer, brings us together. We're all here together for one reason, and that is Imam Hussein. With that said, let me introduce Imam Hussein to you. You say, you really need to introduce Imam Hussein to me? I know Imam Hussein. What can you say that'll increase in my understanding of Imam Hussein? Well, if you believe that your understanding of Imam Hussein is that who was his father, who was his mother, where he was born, how long did he live, how he was martyred, where is he buried, who was his brothers, who were his sisters, and who were his children, then sorry to say, Shimr might have a better understanding of Imam Hussein than you and I. Umar Asad might have a better understanding of Imam Hussein than you and I, because they were right there. They grew up at the same time. Shimr knew Imam Hussein better than you and I. Umar Asad knew Imam Hussein better than you and I. But he did not believe in the wilayat of Imam, that's why he was standing against Imam. So if that is your understanding of Imam Hussein, then I'm sorry, that is not the perfect understanding. Even a person who is not the follower of this religion has the similar understanding of Imam Hussein. He may even have a professor of a university who's teaching Islam, and that is usually the case in this part of the world. The professors who are teaching Islam are mostly non-Muslims. He has a better understanding of who Imam Hussein is because he's written books, scholarly work. You don't have the similar understanding. So let me introduce Imam Hussein to you. Imam Hussein is someone for who Rasulullah said, and you've heard these ahadith, Husaynun minni wa ana min Hussein. Hussein is from me and I'm from Hussein. I don't need to explain what it means. Rasulullah says, Hussein is from me and I'm from Hussein. You understand this hadith. Another hadith says, Inna al-Hussein misbahul huda wa safinatul najat. Hussein is the beacon of light of guidance and safinatul najat, ark of salvation. Another place it says, Man ahabba Husainan faqad ahabba Allah. Whoever loved Hussein indeed loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most famous, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, Sayyida Shababi al-Jannah. Hassan and Hussein are the leaders of the youth of paradise. These are amongst the most commonly recited ahadith. That's what Rasulullah said about Imam Hussein. This is how Rasulullah introduced Imam Hussein to us. Now when we know that how important Imam Hussein is there anything more important than Imam Hussein in your life? So no, Imam Hussein is very important, especially in these 2 months. Then look at what is priority for Hussein. If Hussein is your priority, then see what it was the priority of Imam Hussein in Karbala. What was the priority? Religion, deen. Imam stood up, rose up for what? For his fame? For wealth? For name? No, these aren't the right reasons. Imam stood up for deen. The Hussein that you and I know, and we know all of his merits, he gave his life for the sake of religion. The Hussein that you and I respect a great deal, and we believe in him, what's the top priority for him? This deen and this madhab. Not only just for him, but also for his family members. So when Hussein is your priority, especially in these 2 months and 10 days, then know what was the priority of Imam Hussein in Karbala. Maybe that will, illuminate a light in your hearts in regards to how important this deen is. This deen is important because it was important to Imam Hussein. If Hussein is willing to sacrifice himself for something, today if you're asked to give your life for something, sacrifice for something, you would want to sacrifice for something which is bigger than you. Let me say this, deen was bigger than Hussein, that's why he gave his life. Salawat bheji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So let that sink in. Let that settle down. And so that priorities rise up for you. That yes, this religion is my first priority. This deen is my first priority. Why? What has this deen done to you? What have you achieved from this deen? What has it done to you? What you have achieved? And how important it is? And what can we do about this deen? Too many questions. I'm not going to go into all of these questions. But there are 5 duties that each one of us has as far as this deen is concerned. Not only those who are sitting on the mimbar wearing this amama. It is the duty of everyone as far as this deen is concerned. Because deen is not only for those who are sitting on the mimbar. Deen is not only for those who are sitting in Najaf and Qum. They are not the only ones responsible for this deen. Every single one of us is responsible. At our own capacity, at our own limits, knowing our limitations, knowing our commitments and capacities, we have a duty to play towards this deen. So if you have a phone, you can use your phone right now to jot down these 5 things, but only use it for these things, not for anything else. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First and foremost duty that we have towards this deen. First and foremost duty. First duty that we have towards this deen is ma'rifat deen. Proper recognition of this deen. Meaning what? Elevate yourself. Don't just have a very mundane understanding of this religion. That Islam asks me to pray, it asks me to fast, it asks me to give zakat, it asks me to give khums, and that is all that matters to me, and then I have my own life. No, Islam is a religion all-encompassing that directs and has said and has intervened in every aspect of your life. There isn't an aspect of your life for which Islam hasn't said something. You and I may not know, but Islam has given its opinion about everything that we do or we come across in this life. You and I may not know about it. But ma'rifat of this deen is the first step that you need to. You need to elevate yourself. Remember yesterday's discussion how Rasulullah, Nabi from Naba, is meant to raise the graph for people. Raise yourself. Don't limit yourself that I have attended the majalis. All the information that I needed, I got from the Majlis al-Azhar. No. Ma'rifat of religion is important. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. In Nahjul Balagha, the very first khutbah, usually people have read the first khutbah. If you ask them, have you read the 15th khutbah? They're like, I don't know. First, or the preface, or the muqaddamah, people usually read. Or the first chapter, people usually read. Second, third, fourth, if they do it, no. Last chapter, no, maybe not. But the first chapter, usually, I'm sure many of you have read through. If not, make an effort. There's no excuse that you cannot read through it. It's available in English. It's available in Urdu. There are commentaries that are available for it as well. But don't go in the commentary. Just read the translation. You are, mashallah, educated enough to understand the words of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imam in that first khutbah says, Awwaluddin ma'rifatuh. The first step in religion is what? The ma'rifat of the religion. You need to upgrade yourself. You need to update yourself. The way your phones are updated, the way you are up to date when it comes to the medical terms, for example, for the doctors who have graduated 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, to keep themselves sharp, they refer to these medical journals so they know what are the latest surgeries or the practices are out there. You need to keep the same thing going for yourself. Now, what I was taught in madrasa, in Sunday school, is all that I need. After that, I don't really need this thing. Don't be like that person that when it was told to him, he closed the Quran, he said, Hada firaqun bayni wa baynak. I don't need you anymore. This is firaq between me and you now. No. Quran should always remain with us. Quran should always be next to us. Quran should be our code of conduct. Unfortunately, for parents, this is, that they make an effort to make sure that their kids finish Quran as early as possible. By the age of 7 or 8, their kids usually finish Quran. And there's like a competition going on. How old was your kid when she finished? My kid was 12. Oh, that late. My son finished it when he was only 7 years old. My daughter finished it when she was only 8 years old. As if there's a competition. That's okay. Parents get a kick out of it when their children accomplish something. If a 3-year-old comes, sits over here and recites, Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar, even by making 10 mistakes, when it comes down, all of you will praise him because of the effort. But if I recited Inna a'taina with 10 mistakes, nobody will be praising. Like Maulana. So things change. Unfortunately, kids finish Quran at the age of, let's say, 10. And then, Hada firaqun bayni wa baynak. This is the, then you go ahead and put it away, and that's it. I have nothing to do with this Quran anymore. And by the time they turn 15, they have a hard time reciting this Quran. They can't even recite it. Forget the kids. Our elders, who are able to solve the most complex issues in their own expert fields, they're unable to recite Quran properly, making mistakes. And then because of the sharam that comes in, they say, well, let's not even bother reciting. So that's number one. How good is our recitation? That's a very mundane thing. That's a very basic thing that we, unfortunately, sometimes, are not good at it. So with that said, make Quran to be part of your daily routine. Reading it, translation of it, maybe 5 ayat, maybe 10 ayat, not more than that. Because Quran speaks to you. Quran is the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first step of you making an effort of this ma'rifat of this deen. But when it comes to a non-Muslim who wants to convert to Islam, Quran may not be the best thing to give to them the first thing. When someone is embracing the religion of Islam, don't just hand them a Quran. Here you go, brother, this is the book. Here you go, sister, this is the book of Islam, Quran, you've heard of it, read through it. That might not be the best thing for them. Why? Because they'll come across ayat in Quran which says, slay them, kill them, run after them until they're submissive. What are you going to do about those ayat? Kill these infidels, run after them, slay them until they're submissive. That person will turn this Quran off and say, well, that's it for me. If you can't give explanation, then don't give them a Quran. Tell them the best thing for you to read in these initial days is Risalatul Hukuk, for example, from our fourth Imam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam. The treatise on rights. Let them embrace the religion, knowing what religion says when it comes to your neighbors. What Deen says when it comes to your teacher. What Deen says when it comes to your father, your mother, your parents, your siblings, your muazzin, your imam, your nafs, your body parts, your adha and jawari, your other organs. What does Islam say about those things? Let them enter into the valley of Islam through that book. And then once they're in it, yeah, go ahead and read Quran as well. But whenever you get stuck somewhere in Quran, don't assume that this is what your understanding of Quran is and that's what it means. Come to me, let me explain it to you. But for that to happen, you need to have the ma'rifat of deen yourself. If you don't have the proper ma'rifat, how are you going to be able to convey it to someone else? I'm running out of my time. Let me go through these 5 steps quickly. Number 2, once you have the ma'rifat of religion, the second step is taslim kamil, absolute submission towards the deen and the tenets of the religion. You can't be amongst those أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضٍ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضٍ فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ بِذَلِكَ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ. That those who believe in some and those who do not believe in some. There were people. I was told a story that a group of people came to Ayatollah Burujardi and he said, we do your taqleed 355 days a year. But for the 10 days of Muharram, we don't do your taqleed. In fact, you do our taqleed on those 10 days. Because we're not going to listen to what you have to say about those 10 days of Muharram. We'll do things according to our own understanding. أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضٍ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضٍ. They believe in some part of the Quran and they decline some parts of the Quran. If you believe that this book is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no denial. You may not understand certain features of this Quran. You may not understand certain things that are mentioned in this book. But that does not mean you start denouncing it. I don't understand it, I don't believe it, I'm not going to do it. There's so many issues. I don't want to pinpoint these issues because some of you might feel offended because it is so commonly being practiced. Certain things that we do. One example. Maulana, why is it haram for men to wear gold? So regularly, our men sometime, and when they get married especially, the bride's family gives them something gold. Maybe a gold watch, maybe a band or something, and they wear it around. You tell them gold is haram for men. They say, well, why? Men and women, what's the difference between the two? It's okay for women to wear it, it's not okay for men to wear it. What's the dalil? What's the reason? And when I'm not able to give you a reason, because I don't know the reason, or a reason which will satisfy you at least, it's like, there you go. If it doesn't fit in my aql, then I'm not going to follow it. No, but the deen said it. If you believe in 90% of the deen, then believe in the rest of the 10% as well. No, it doesn't fit in my aql, so I'm not going to follow it. Turns out, you are obedient to your aql and not obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are muti'e aql and not muti'e mawla, where you need to be muti'e and obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His commands. So, taslim kamil, absolute submission. This is what religion said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do any inhiraf from this deen. I'm not going to deviate from the religion. And that is very difficult to do. Again, I don't have time to go on the explanation of the word taslim and rida and complete submission, inshallah, leaving that to your good understanding. Number 3, once you believe and you have complete submission, You've shown that you have taslim kamil. Third thing to do is difa, and defend this religion. Yes. Again, it's not the duty of those who sit on the mimbar. It's not the duty of those who have this turban, black, white, or green. It's the duty of everyone collectively to protect this deen, difa. How do you do this difa if you don't even know the religion yourself? If you don't know something, right or wrong, how are you going to be able to protect it? How are you going to be able to defend it? That's what happens today amongst the children when they enter into college and universities, and they're amongst the MSA and there are other Sunnis out there, and some polemical issues come about, they're unable to answer because they were not taught from this mimbar, or they were not present when it was being mentioned from the mimbar, let's put it that way, and they didn't understand it. So you need to be able to protect this thing, defend it. Why do you do matam? You should be able to defend it. Why do you have Majlis Azam? Why do you commemorate for 2.5 months? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? All of those things. If you do it, if you're doing it, then you should have an absolute good reason why. Not because I'm doing taqleed of my aba wa ajdad, my parents, they used to do it, they taught me, and that's the reason. You should have your own. You can't say that to someone in MSA, oh, because my parents told me to. That is not going to fly. You need to have a deeper understanding yourself regarding things that you are doing. Again, you are in good hands in this community with the likes of Maulana sitting over here, Maulana over here, and our dear Maulana who's making his way back from the ziyarat. You're in good hands. And you can ask them these questions, and they'll be able to answer these questions for you. Make sure be equipped and ready before the need arises, because when the need arises and they ask you the question and you're dumbfounded, you don't have the answer for it, that will be a wrong thing to do. So difa as religion, difa an ad-deen, defending the religion. So you got ma'rifat, you got taslim, and you got difa. So you have the recognition, you have complete submission, and number 3, you have defending the religion. Number 4, takfir ad-deen. Meaning what? Spreading the religion. Again, it's not the duty of those who sit on the mimbar. It's the duty of every single one of you. There's a notion amongst the Shias nowadays. We don't need more Shias. We don't need more Shias. This is actually a perfect segue into the 5th one. We don't need more Shias. Why? Because when they come into our fold, they'll start asking questions about some of our practices. Well, all the practices that are taught by Allah, Rasul, and Aimma, there's an answer to that. But if they're your cultural practices, of course, you will not be able to defend that. And nobody's asking you to defend that. But there's a notion, let's not make more people Shia. No, not demographically speaking, increasing the number of Shia. But from the aspect of يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. This is your duty. You read that in the 2nd, 3rd ayat of Ayatul Kursi. يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. It's your duty to bring people out of darkness towards light. If you see someone stranded in darkness, it's your duty. Will you not help them out of that darkness? From that aspect, go ahead and spread this religion. The beauty of the deen is when you explain something about our madhab. And because within Islam there are all of these other madhahib, when it comes to madhab ahl tashayyu, because it's backed by Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, and we believe in the infallible Imams, there isn't any loophole. There aren't any shortcuts. There aren't things by which we say, well, when it comes to how Allah is situated, al-istiva'u ma'loom, al-ilmu bihi, majhul, or al-imanu bihi, believing it, that Allah is sitting on the arsh. We need to believe in that because Quran says it. How He's sitting, kayfiyatuhu majhul. How He's sitting, we don't know how Allah is sitting. Imanu bihi wajib, you need to believe that He's sitting. وَالسُّؤَالُ anhu bid'ah, but questioning is bid'at. So you need to believe that Allah is sitting on the arsh. Allah is sitting on the throne. Kayfiyat, we don't know how He's sitting. Iman, you have to believe in it. su'al bid'at. You can't question how he's sitting. This is the aqidah of our brothers. He said, no, Allah is not sitting when he says, alal arsh istawa. The sitting is just used metaphorically. Allah is not sitting on the arsh ilahi. Sitting means when I'm sitting on this mimbar, there's no room for any one of you. Although there's some, but I won't let anyone else sit. When you sit on a chair, you're occupying it. Allah on this arsh is occupying it, and there's no room for any other ilah, or there's no room for any other God. That's what it means. That's not what what the others say. So with that said, our madhab, backed by Imam Zaman and Masumeen Aimma Athar, we believe that there aren't any loopholes. There aren't things for which you have to say, oh, by the way, sometimes it's like this and sometimes it's like that. No. It's very straightforward. You and I may not be able to answer it at the moment, but the answers are all there. So that's number 4, takfir. Spread the religion, brothers and sisters. Don't hold it back to you. If you have a skill, if you have knowledge, why do you want to withhold this knowledge? Forget the call of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. When Imam compared ilm and wealth, he said, what is the difference between ilm and wealth? Knowledge and wealth. He said, well, knowledge, when you spend it, it increases. Wealth, when you spend it, it decreases. Right? When you spend your knowledge, meaning you spread your knowledge, what happens? It increases. More and more people become knowledgeable. When you spend your wealth, what happens? It decreases. Ilm protects you while you protect the wealth. You need to guard over this wealth of yours, while this ilm is the one which is protecting you. And Imam gave a few answers comparing ilm, knowledge, with wealth. Last thing, and inshallah, I'll ask for your murakhasi. Number 5. So let's repeat, lest you forget what are the first 4 steps. Number 1, recognition, ma'rifat. Number 2, taslim, submission. Number 3, difa, defending. Number 4, takthir, meaning spreading. Number 5, which is a perfect segue into it, is protecting it from deviations. You know, when deen is mukammal and has been completed, then comes in it these different deviations that are included and become part of the religion. There are people who try to give a different face to religion. We got to be careful. There's some people who might be posing as scholars, but they are spreading things about this religion which has no, authenticity whatsoever. So you got to be careful. It may not be your cup of tea. You may leave that to the ulama to handle and tackle this, but still know that we have a collective duty to protect this deen from inhiraf and deviations. These are the 5 things. I leave these 5 things with you, and inshallah, hopefully, you can expand on it, and inshallah, take it to the next level. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam, when he stepped out, he saw all of the people that that were his followers that were with him. Imam called out upon them, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, where are my companions? The companions that used to condemn the bid'at, and those who used to revive the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, one of the reasons that Imam was proud of his companions was that they were not just companions who gave their life, but they were the people who condemned the bid'at and the deviations that were becoming part of the religion, and they were the ones who were reviving the sunnah of Rasulullah. These are the ashab that Imam needed. And these are the ashab that Imam Hussein brought with himself as well in Karbala. Every single one of them is worth mentioning. Where to begin? Who do we start from? Should we talk about Zuhair ibn Qayn? Should we talk about Habib ibn Mawahir? Should we talk about Muslim ibn Awsaja? Should we talk about the ones who couldn't make it, like Hani ibn Urwa? Should we talk about Muslim ibn Aqil? All of these are individuals who did what? Who denounced the bid'at and the inhirafat, and who revived the sunnah. You know, Zuhair is someone who didn't even want to join Imam al-Asr. It is mentioned that Zuhair was very close to the third caliph. He was also on the same path as Imam Hussein was going. But what happened? Imam sent for some people. Imam sent forth for a person by the name Ubaidullah ibn Hurr Juhfi. Wrote to him, come and join us. He responded by saying, oh Hussein, you can take my zirah, you can take my shield, you can take my horse, you can take my sword, but keep me out of it. I don't want to fight in a battle which is between two Muslims. Imam said, okay. But when the istaghasa will be raised, I don't want you to be close by. Because if you hear istaghatha, hal min nasirin jansuruna, and you don't say labbaik to it, Allah will hold you accountable. So go as far away as possible. That's one example of whom Imam wrote. Just the fact that you realize that Imam had to write to people to call them to come and join him. That thought itself is very heart-wrenching. Imam wrote a letter to Habib ibn Mawahir as well. And you saw the reaction of Habib, how he came saying labbaik to Imam Hussein. Today you and I chant labbaik ya Hussein. We need to also chant labbaik ya Mahdi, because that's the Imam of our time. The people in the time of Imam Hussein were either saying labbaik to Imam Hussein or were not saying labbaik to Imam Hussein. Today, how many of us are saying labbaik ya Mahdi? Are we ready when Imam reappears? Are we going to be standing in the lanes, in the sufuf and the party of Imam? Or will we run away like many did not accompany Imam Hussein in the day of Ashur? Why are there only 72? In some riwayat, 130. Let's just keep it to 72. Why are there only 72 who are only feeling the pain for this deen? Isn't it the duty of everyone else? Why is Imam Hussein and only a few companions? Imam did not write a letter to Zuhair because Zuhair was nearby. Imam sent a messenger to Zuhair. Oh Zuhair, Imam Hussein is calling you. He said, I don't want to go. His wife said, go check it out, see what's going on, so that tomorrow you don't feel that regret that, Hussein, the grandson of Rasulullah, the son of Ali and Fatima, called upon you and you did not respond to him. Zuhair was a very affluent man. He deliberated, but he eventually went. People thought that he's not going to go ahead and accompany Imam Hussein because of his status, because of his belonging and loyalty to the third caliph. Zuhair goes, comes back a moment later and says to his wife, all the things that I have and I belong to me are yours. I am setting you free, meaning you don't have to remain married to me. You can remarry someone else. And I'm telling you to go, take the ghulam and take everyone. I'm going to be at the service of Hussein ibn Ali. Oh Zuhair, a moment ago you didn't even want to go listen to what Imam Hussein had to say. Now you're saying that everybody go, that I'm going to be with Hussein. What has he shown you? This is where Zuhair will tell you that Hussein showed me the right path. Hussein showed me the picture. Hussein showed me what is at ask, what is the task, and I want to accompany Hussein ibn Ali. This wife says, if you want to stay with Hussein, then I want to stay with Hussein as well. I've accompanied you all my life. I'm going to accompany you as well. And that is why on the night of Ashur, when Imam Hussein put out the candle, asking people to to leave, saying that if you want, you can get up and leave. These people are only after my blood. They're thirsty for my blood and not yours. You're free to go, and you will not be held accountable. I guarantee the paradise for you. Imam turned off the lamp, and he put out the candle, but when he put the candle back on again, he saw that all the companions were sitting intact. No one had gotten up and left. In fact, Zuhair said, "Oh Hussein, if we were given 70 lives, and if we were slain 70 times, we will never strand you. We will never leave you alone." And that is the reason Imam Hussein took pride. He said, "The ashab that I got, neither my grandfather nor did my father have such ashab. Oh my ashab, you are the best of the ashab." Hussein knows what is at ask tomorrow. He knows that everyone will be killed and martyred, but still he calls his ashab to be the best of the ashab. The day of Ashur comes, and they're all at this task. It is no less than the day of Ashura. Ashura se kam nahi hai, Ashura qiyamat se kam nahi hai. Arey wo din hai Ashura, jis din Hussein jaisi shakhsiyat ko shaheed kiya jata hai, paamal kiya jata hai, laashon ko, saron ko تن سے جدا کیا جاتا ہے. وہ لمحہ آتا ہے حسین نے جب سب سے ودا لے لی، اب جب مقتل میں آ گئے اور آ کے اتمام حجت کر دیا. اب جب حسین نے ندائے آسمانی سنی، یا ایھا الذین آمنوا اوفوا بالعقود، اے ایمان والوں اپنے وعدوں کو وفا کرو. حسین نے اپنی تلوار نیام میں رکھی. دشمن چار جانب سے حملہ کرتا ہے، تلواریں چلی، نیزے پھینکے گئے، گرز پھینکے گئے. ارے جس کے ہاتھ میں کچھ نہ تھا اس نے پتھر مارے. اتنے زخم لگے حسین کے جسم پہ، زین سے زمین پہ آتے ہیں. کہتے ہیں لاشا زمین پہ نہ آیا، معلق رہا ہوا میں. اجرکم اللہ. شمر کہتا ہے جاؤ حسین کا کام تمام کرو. انس آتا ہے آگے بڑھ کے، لیکن اس کے ہاتھ کپ کپانے لگتے ہیں. ایک دوسرا شخص آتا ہے حسین کا سر جدا کرنے، ہاتھ کپ کپانے لگتے ہیں. شمر کہتا ہے یہ کام تم سے نہ ہوگا، میں ہی حسین کا سر قلم کروں گا. آتا ہے امام حسین کے سینے پہ اپنا گھٹنا رکھتا ہے. ابھی گھٹنا ہی رکھنا تھا. ایک دفعہ حسین جس کو نظر نہیں آ رہا تھا، امام حسین کہتے ہیں اے شیم لقد ارتقیت مرتقا عظیما. اے شمر تو نے بڑی بلند جگہ پہ قدم رکھا ہے. ارے یہ وہ جگہ ہے جہاں کے بوسے رسول لیا کرتے تھے. بس شمر نے امام حسین کے سر کو تن سے جدا کرنا چاہا. زینب جو یہ منظر دیکھ رہی تھی اب کچھ نظر نہ آیا. تلے زینبیہ پہ گئیں، جا کے کیا دیکھا؟ شمر سر کو جدا کر رہا ہے. کہا اے شمر ذرا آہستہ خنجر چلا میرا بھیا. 3 دن کا بھوکا پیاسا. یا حسین
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, 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 Hussein. The earth trembled, the sky blackened. The earth trembled, the sky blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. I told Zuljana, please don't take father. Whoever goes, they never returned. I told Zuljana, please don't take father. Whoever goes, they never return. My father then told me, to him I'm so dear. My father then told me, to him I'm so dear. The time has now come for us to part. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. After you were slain, they came into our tents. They slapped me on my face and snatched my earrings. After you were slain, they came into our tents. They slapped me on my face and snatched my earrings. Do they not know we are of Ahlul Bayt? Do they not know we are of Ahlul Bayt? Oh grandfather, where are you? The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. Sakina cannot sleep, her father has been slain. Oh father, where are you? Sakina cannot sleep, her father has been slain. Oh father, where are you? I want to lay my head upon your chest. I want to lay my head upon your chest. When will I see you? When will I see you? The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. When I fell down from the camel's back, Zainab cried out, no one took heed. When I fell down from the camel's back, Zainab cried out, no one took heed. But then, Father, your head fell off, holy spear. But then, Father, your head fell off, holy spear. When will I see you? When will I see you? The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. The city of Sham came out to see who are these prisoners paraded through town. The city of Sham came out to see who are these prisoners paraded through town. Can it really be the family of Rasul? Can it really be the family of Rasul? Without any veils, the daughters of Hussein. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. My brother Ali-Asghar, he died without a drop. Now how can I drink while he's thirsty? My brother Ali-Asghar, he died without a drop. Now how can I drink whilst he's thirsty? I want to leave this evil dungeon of Yazid. I want to leave this evil dungeon of Yazid. When will I see you? When will I see you? The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. O men of Yazid, please take away this tray. O men of Yazid, please take away this tray. I am not hungry, I want my father. I am not hungry, I want my father. On the tray there lay my father's head. On the tray there lay my father's head. I want to be with you, the time has now come. I want to be with you, the time has now come. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. The earth trembled, the skies blackened. Hussein has been martyred, Hussein has been martyred. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة الله، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي هلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس وأنيس النفوس، أيها المدفون بأرض طوسلي ابن موسى رضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك صاحب الأسر والزمان، السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان، السلام عليك شريك القرآن، أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته.